Psalm 63. We, I, I've spent uh, so many words talking about the trees. It's probably a good thing to wrap it up by looking at the forest. So let's go back to the beginning, and I'm going to read through it, do my best not stop every, 18 words. And anyway, here we go. This is a Psalm of David regarding a time when David was in the wilderness of Judah. When he was in the wilderness of Judah, he wasn't out there just for to get a merit badge as a Boy Scout on a camping trip. He was on the lam. He was running from Saul, who didn't just want to, you know, maybe arrest him. I mean, he wanted him killed. Okay. O God, you are my God. I earnestly search for you. My soul thirsts for you. My whole body longs for you in this parched and weary land where there is no water. I don't know. When I read that, I'm not sure how could I know how it would strike you? But every time I read it, I think, I want that to be true of me. I've seen you in the sanctuary and gazed upon your power and glory. Your unfailing love is better than life itself. How I praise you. And that theme of unfailing love, it ought to be one of the themes that preoccupy all of God's children. When I contemplate his unfailing love, and the truth is, I can only go so far with that because I'm just finite. His love is infinite. If it is unfailing, not too big of a jump to figure it's probably infinite. So, okay. Your unfailing love is better than life itself. Okay, that's hyperbole, and poetic hyperbole at that. How I praise you. I will praise you as long as I live, lifting up my hands to you in prayer. I'm not sure how much God is interested in my posture in prayer. My personal thought is that not. He is most interested in the posture of my heart. He knows I can't scam him on this. I can't. It's impossible for me to. I can attempt, but I can't pull off a ruse. God can't be. Well, he knows everything. So, oh, praise you as long as I live, lifting up my hands to you in prayer. One quick thing about that. When I lift my hands to God in prayer, I think it's a little bit like when all my grandkids now they're way past this, but when they were little, and they'd toddle over to me, and they'd raise their hands up. There was almost a guarantee. I'm going to pick them up. I know that I don't want to trivialize what David has written, but isn't there a little bit of that? And I raise my hands in prayer. You satisfy me more than the richest feast. Oh, I want that to be true. I want it to be true of me. I want it to be true of you. How how could that become true for any one of us? Well, okay, I'm going to talk a little now about that because I think it's valid. The, the idea of being satisfied is, is all about a sensation where I feel I'm good. That's enough. With food, we get some help from our stomach and our whole physiology if we pay attention to it, but we don't always pay attention to it. The emotional side of satisfaction, though, is somewhat like the physical side, the more material side of when and I don't think it's any accident that David talks about his being satisfied with God more than the richest feast, right? Okay, he's connecting. When you go to a rich feast, I'm thinking about Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. There are times, aren't there, when our body is way satisfied, but we keep eating. How do you come to a point of recognizing I am satisfied? That's where I want to go, because we live in a culture that does not want us to reach a point of satisfaction. If you watch TV, so far I've not been able to watch TV and avoid advertisements, and sometimes, I'll be honest, I watch TV and I'm kind of watching for the commercials, because either some of the commercials are real witty and I like them, others I just scoff at. So anyway, but there's not a single commercial, there won't ever be, that promotes the idea of be satisfied. You have what you need, or we'll help you get what you need, and so that you can be satisfied over the long term. See, these companies can't make any money if that's the case. If I get satisfied, and I won't spend, why would I spend more money on their product? I have to be dissatisfied, really, to have very much interest at all in spending money on their product. And this satisfaction that their product produces can only be a short term. It's the only way they can stay in business. They got to keep selling you the stuff, whatever this stuff is. I think, possibly more than any generation, are part of a generation that is very difficult to satisfy. And I mean, I'm throwing rotten eggs now, but look around. How many people do you know that would say, oh man, this car, 7 years old, I am perfectly satisfied? Or the house, I've been in it for like 5-8 years, and I'm totally satisfied. I don't need to change anything about it. I don't need a new house. The furniture, I'm satisfied. It's not because we're horrible people and just terribly irredeemably selfish, although selfishness does play a huge role in the dissatisfaction that most people feel. We're broken. We're human beings. And one of the sensations that most human beings are going to feel is dissatisfaction. David had trained himself to find true satisfaction. And although I know he from time to time had to be dissatisfied, but he trained himself to focus on being satisfied with God. You satisfy me more than the richest feast. All right, so challenge question. How satisfied are you? How satisfied am I with God? And if I'm not satisfied, why is that? You satisfy me more than the richest feast. I will praise you with songs of joy. I lie awake thinking of you, meditating on you through the night, because you're my helper. I sing for joy in the shadow of your wings. I cling to you. Your strong right hand holds me securely. This is, for me, this is calls to mind a picture I love. When our girls were little, we held hands. This has been years ago now, but it was when the first time we lived here in Las Vegas. Jenny and I, my youngest daughter, needed to go to Sam's Club to get some stuff. She was the elementary school pastor at Canyon Ridge Christian Church. On an average Sunday, or weekend rather, because Saturday night and Sunday we had services, she would typically have 500 first through fifth graders that she was responsible for. And she did this fabulous job of it. That required stuff, right? So we were both needed to go, so we went together. And on the way in, we were walking side by side, and she grabbed my hand. And I flashed back in a moment to when she was 3 or 4. I love this word picture of you. Your strong right hand holds me securely. But those plotting to destroy me will come to ruin. They will die by the sword and become the food of jackals. You kind of got to keep the long picture in mind. There are people who don't want us to succeed. We have an ultimate enemy, and it's not that he doesn't want us to succeed. He wants to take us out, to kill, steal, destroy. But the king will rejoice in God. All who swear to tell the truth will praise him, while liars will be silenced. I long for the day when liars will be silenced. I have to be careful, though, because as much as I don't like this, I have lied in my lifetime. I'm making an intentional effort at this point in my life to not lie. But the world around me seems like there's liars everywhere. Don't let that picture hold you hostage, because that's not how it ends. Well, mercifully, the time's up. I'll see you next time on Soul Care with Stevie Boy.